Ever had one of those days when everything goes wrong? I can remember one of the worst days on the farm was it was 8 inches of snow and the cattle got out of the fence. A tree had come down in the snow, cattle had got out, and cattle getting out is rough enough, especially when you've got other things to do during the day. But when there's 8 inches of snow and you're trekking around trying to herd them back into the fence, probably the worst day I've had on the farm. Just one of those things that happens on the farm, one of many things that we've had happen since we started this farm 8 years ago. And today, that's what I'm going to talk about: 5 reasons I hate my farm. Now, I don't hate farming in general, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing YouTube and farming, but there are things about the farm that I hate, and I'm going to talk about a few of those with you today. And hopefully this will help anybody that is getting into farming. Yes, there's a romantic side to farming. You're working the land, you're working with your family, your land is providing an income for you, but at the same time, there's a much less romantic side of farming that a lot of people don't see. All right, let's get into it. I want to get to one thing real quick. We have a newsletter. You can sign up in the link below. One email every 1 to 2 weeks. And my goal with it is to make you a better farmer in 5 minutes a week. I share what we're doing here on the farm. I share resources I found online and things that I think will be of a benefit to you to help you on your farm or homestead. All right? So the first thing that I hate about farming is being a jack of all trades and the cost. Starting any business costs a lot of money, but I feel like farming especially, because farmers tend to be a jack of all trades, meaning they work on their equipment, they work the fields, they market their product, they advertise their product, there's websites, there's so many different things that farmers do. And again, you can outsource all that. It's the decision of whether you're going to pay money to get your time back or you're going to pay time to save money. I always feel that time is the most important thing we have. But again, if you don't have the money, it's hard to get that time back. And then you're using your time to do things that you would normally outsource. And that becomes a big deal, especially when you grow your farm, you get into multiple enterprises. You can see we've got horses behind us. We've got cattle, we've got pigs, we have chickens, meat birds, and layers. And it gets very expensive to run all those different operations because they all need different infrastructure, they all need different fencing, they all need different feed and care. And so it's one of the things I hate about the farm is just that it's expensive to grow. And again, this is true for any business. There's a startup cost, and you've typically got to pay that cost up front before you have any money come in. And as farmers, we want to be a jack of all trades, so we have all the equipment to try to handle all the different things. As a farmer, you probably know equipment breaks down, and when it breaks down, it's going to be at the worst time.
Ain't that the truth?
If you want to see a video on that, check out up here where our hay baler broke after I had cut, raked, tedded, and had everything ready to bale. Got through about 10 bales of about 80 or 90, and bam, baler broke, and really broke, like not repairable by me, broke. So it's just one of those things with farming that I hate. It's very expensive, and being a jack of all trades, yes, will save you some time and money, but it may also cost you time and money. One thing I do like about farming is hanging out with my kids, and we're getting stuff done together. Addie's driving. Hopefully we'll make it down to finish this video. All right, let's head down here. We'll move some chickens and turkeys and talk about the second reason I hate my farm. Quick update before we get into reason number 2. Turkey's behind me, getting big. They've got about 3 more weeks before we go to the processor. Everything's working great. I still don't have automatic waters yet, but we're filling these waters. I think they're called Little Giants or Big Giants or something. But other than that, doing well. You saw the boilers earlier, and they are doing good. And now let's talk about reason number 2 I hate my farm. So reason number 2 that I hate my farm is relationship stress. And again, this could apply to any entrepreneurial endeavor that you do. But there's been times with my wife and I, there's been stress in the relationship because of the farm. We grow it to a point where all we're doing is farming, chores, marketing, packing orders, market, and we're not doing a lot of fun stuff. And that's not good for anybody's mental health. The other thing is that we obviously have 3 children. We homeschool as well. and she does a majority of that. I try to do some, but it puts a lot on her, especially when we get in this busy season of we've got every animal on the farm, the meat birds, the pigs. During the winter, fall into winter, we typically go down to just cows and layers, and things just get a lot easier. But this time of year, it's just crazy. And then just the business side of the farm as well. It's not just the chores and farming, it's keeping up with inventory on the website, writing emails, social media posts, packing orders. The inventorying itself is just hours and hours. Right now, we've got 14 pigs getting ready to come back from the processor, and all my freezers are full. So we're a little stressed about that. We're trying to scramble to find, we've got 19 chest freezers, and they're just full. And after these pigs come back, these 200 birds and 50 turkeys will be going in that I don't have freezer space for those guys either. So we're looking at possibly renting stuff, but it's just, these are things that go along with entrepreneurship and farming in general. And we'll work them out, but they get stressful. And again, if you and your partner are doing it, it can put strains on your relationship. So be sure, make time for yourself and each other. That's what we've learned. We will just take a break. We'll be like, okay, I've even had times where I've shut the website down so nobody can order. And that gives us a little break, gives us a little time just to catch our breaths, do a little mental relaxation where we're not worrying about anything. And you've got to build those times into your farm. You and your spouse or significant other will be much happier for it. Okay? All right, let's head up, do these layers, and we'll talk about number 3, why I hate my farm. Anyways, birds are good. We got eggs. We're getting about, I don't know, 100 eggs a day now. It's really slowed down from where we were at. Let's talk about reason number 3. I hate my farm. An extra one being it's hot and messy right now, and blah. All right, I had to move away from the birds a little bit. It's getting a little loud. Hopefully they're not coming through on the microphone. But reason number 3 why I hate my farm is that the demands on your time. And again, this can apply to any entrepreneurial endeavor, whether you're opening a shop, starting a restaurant. But I think a lot of people get into farming thinking that they're going to be home and with their family the whole time. And unfortunately, it's just not the case. Yeah, you are home, but you are probably seeing your family less sometimes than if you had a 9 to 5.
He's nailing it.
There are days when you're cutting hay, when you're raking hay, baling hay. That's a couple-day process in itself. There are days when you're on the road. Our processors are about an hour and a half, 2 hours away, that you're back and forth. You know, it's the easy 3.5, 4 hour round trip, not counting unloading time, or you have to make that trip again for every trip that you take animals in so that you can pick up your meat. And then there's projects that you have on the farm. Having different enterprises means different projects, and that's fencing, that's building fencing, repairing fencing, structures like you see behind me. We've got a eggmobile and a water wagon. And even when you get these projects done, they're constantly breaking, you're having to repair. And again, this is always going to happen at the worst time. So just demands on your time are a lot. And I haven't even gotten into the business side. I spend hours sometimes at the computer. You know, when we get 3 head of cattle back or 14 pigs like we're getting ready to get back, our processors don't provide us with a cut sheet that actually gives us all the cuts. So I've got to go through every single cut. We bag it, separate it. It goes up into our barn and our freezers. And then I've got to enter all that into a spreadsheet, into the computer, so that I know what I got listed on my website, what I'm using for farmers market. Again, very time demanding, but that's what makes the money, so you got to do it. And then just keeping up with numbers in general. We want to know if we're profitable or not, so you got to sit down and do your books. Feed cost, transportation cost, animal cost versus income from those enterprises. So just know that going into a farm, at first you're like, I'm going to do this work, I'm going to get it, but it really does get tiring. Especially we're 8 years into this now, and it's just a lot sometimes. And of course, this time of year, it's August, it's the busiest time of the year. But just be prepared and just know going into it that it's not always romantic, and the demands on your time are going to be large. All right, let's go check these couple cattle. We've got a few bulls that we are going to get castrated day after tomorrow. So let's go check these guys real quick, and we'll talk about number 4. These cattle have the right idea. Nice shady spot, so I'm actually happy to film this segment because it's under a nice tree. Behind me, I've got 10 bulls. These are, we had a few on the farm that we just didn't castrate early on. We were going to try to let them grow out to 7, 8 months, year or so, then get them castrated just to see if that helps put on more weight. But then we've also picked up a few bulls that need castrating as well. And so we've got them all together. We've got 10 of them behind me, and they are separated. The females are way back where we were doing the turkeys and the broilers. They're down there in those pastures. So we've got all the ladies separated. We've got the guys back here behind us, and the vet's coming Monday. I'm going to try to film some of that. I don't know how much the vet will be comfortable with, but either way, we have a video coming out on our squeeze chute. Not just squeeze chute, we built a whole cattle handling area with squeeze chute, palpation box, and I'm going to go over that with you, show you how we built it, why we did what we did, and I'll let you know how it worked for castrating these guys. Reason number 4 that I hate my farm sometimes is seasonal fluctuations. And what I mean by that is, 1, weather. Farming is really a weather dependent business, whether you're doing crops or you're doing livestock. Weather in that droughts will prevent you from getting hay for a year, and that means you're going to have to come up with a whole lot of extra money to buy hay. Fluctuations such as cattle prices right now. These are the highest prices I've ever had to pay for cattle, and props to the guys producing calves and selling them out. They deserve what they're getting. At the same time, I'm a farm-to-table operation, meaning I buy those weaned calves, and man, they're expensive right now, and a lot of that's reflecting in our prices. Again, talking about weather and drought, a tropical storm come through here. It was pretty tame as far as tropical storms go, but it was a ton of rain for a day and a half. And we also live on the river where we even have cattle and our chickens and our turkeys, so we haven't experienced it yet, but it could get bad enough where that could be a big issue. And we could be in an emergent situation where we're having to get all those guys off the river and up here. And it's like any business. There's just going to be fluctuations. Part of being an entrepreneur is your job is solving problems and dealing with problems. That is kind of your title. If you're going to be successful in any business, whether it's farming, anything, you've got to be a problem solver, because problems are going to pop up no matter what you do. You know, for farming, I've watched every video, read so many books, and there's just going to be things that don't apply to you. And really just endurance. There's going to be times where you're just taxed. You've done chores, you worked on a project all day, and then you're just dead tired. You've got to go to work early in the morning, and then a tree comes down on a fence where you have animals. And so even though you're tired, you got to get out there and deal with that, because otherwise your animals are going to be out. And there's fluctuations with farming that are going to affect you no matter how well you plan. It's going to happen. And you got to be prepared for it, not just physically, financially, but also mentally. It's one of the things that can really wear on you when you feel like you've done everything you're supposed to do and something like that happens. And sometimes you just got to shake your head and just get it done. So just fluctuations. Another reason I hate my farm sometimes. Let's go get these eggs back over to the barn, and we will talk about the final and I think most important reason that I sometimes hate my farm. How's it going, fellas? You guys hanging out in the shade here? Woo! All right, got the eggs in here. This is our egg washing station. I've done a video on that. I'll link it below. Reason number 5, why I hate my farm sometimes. And it's that, no other way to put it, I feel like I'm a prisoner to my farm sometimes. And that sounds kind of harsh. What I mean by that is being tied down to the farm. A lot of times you're unable to leave the farm. And that may be times when family's taking a vacation and they want you to go with them. That may be times when there's an event or something going on that you can't make because you have cattle, chickens, pigs, turkeys, sheep, horses, a donkey. It'll tie you to the farm, and it makes it really hard sometimes to do the things that you want to do. We haven't had a real vacation in, about 3 years.
Ouch.
We're taking one this year. Next month, we're going to the beach. And we've made it a plan that next year we're going to plan 2 vacations, and we're just going to plan stuff around it just because it's important for the kids. I want to take a vacation too, just a mental break sometimes from the farm is good. But I want to make sure they're having experiences too. And I don't want my dream of farming and the fact that it does tie us to the farm a lot to prevent them from having experiences that, will go through the rest of their life. So we're taking a vacation, but just know that sometimes you will be a prisoner to your farm. You will be tied to it, and you need to be really conscious of that so that you can create ways that you don't fall into that trap. And that could be hiring someone. That could be, if like me and my spouse do it, designating tasks. Again, that doesn't really help for vacations and stuff, but if we're going to take kids to the pool or we're going to go, say, out to eat or something, then we'll tag team things and do things so that we can make that time to do that. And Lexi and I do great. It's one of those things that we've grown from the farm closer together because we've been through trials and tribulations and sometimes feel like it's pushed us apart. And I think that makes us a great team. And that's really important if you're going to do a farm and not be a prisoner to your farm, is having a team or people that you can depend on to get things done and to be there mentally, physically. Even sometimes when you can get away, if you've got a lot going on, your mind is occupied. You may be on vacation and your mind's still back at the farm because you're worried about this, you're worried about that. So just try to keep that in your mind if you're starting a farm or you're doing a farm, that yes, sometimes the farm will make you a prisoner to your farm, but at the same time you can get out of that by just looking for help, planning your animals at certain times, planning your processing dates, and just be sure to plan in some downtime, some vacations, some off farm, away from farm, not farming things. That's good for your mental health and will make you a better farmer and husband and father overall. All right, one more thing. All right, for this last part, we're doing this Dry Creek Wrangler style. Got my rocking chair, got my backdrop of our farm. For all the reasons I've just said, I hate my farm, I love farming. It's just in my blood. It's, you know, it's all I think about even when I have downtime. I'm trying to think of new ways or better ways to do some of the enterprises we have. I'm reading magazines and publications to see how we can farm better. Just know that with everything you do, there's ups and there's downs. There's no perfect thing where I love every minute of what I'm doing. Even if you love what you're doing, there may be the business side to it that you hate. There may be managing the books. There's just going to be things that aren't fun in any job, and farming's no different than that. I do get to be here with my kids, which I love. Even when I have days where I'm out all day, I can take a break and come up here and have lunch. We can all have lunch together. We can all have dinner together. And I think those are just some of the important times. So even when you're a prisoner to your farm or you're being pulled in 8 million directions, you can just stop and make time for the family, which I think is the most important. And something to keep in mind that I said earlier, you've kind of got two ways of dealing with all of these problems, and it's time and money. You can spend your time and save money, meaning you can cut the tree, you can bale the hay, you can transport the animals to the processor, you can do all the chores. That's your time, and that's money that you don't have to pay somebody to do all those things. On the other hand, you can spend money to save time. And that means you pay someone to do those chores, you pay someone to take those animals, you pay someone to bale that hay. And that's a balance that you have to find for yourself. You can obviously look at it from a profit loss standpoint, like is it worth more for me to do this or not? But at the same time, there's a big mental aspect that goes along with this, and sometimes just for your mental health. There's a value to that. If you're in a spot where you're just overwhelmed, you've got so much going on, pay somebody to do it. We try to approach things that we're going to pay for on the farm is, okay, if I'm going to pay this guy to cut this tree, it's going to cost me $1,000. What can I do? And I'll probably it would take me about a day and a half to do that. Well, let's say probably it always takes me twice as long to do it, I think. So it'll probably take me 3 days, where they can do it in half a day. And in that 3 days, what can I do to make $1,000? I could write an extra email. I could do some social media posts. I could make some phone calls to some ranchers or other farmers that I know to see, hey, you got any calls, or try to get some deals on some animals that will then in turn make me money down the road. And so that's how I approach it, is if you're going to pay someone to do something, try to take that time and double your money. Meaning, okay, I'm paying this guy $1,000, I need to make $2,000 to cover that. And I've found that it's really helped our farm grow doing that, because it forces you to really get creative, to think, and to do some of the things you may have been putting off because you've been out here doing so many chores and farming. So I hope this helps you on your farm. If you want to see more of when things can go wrong, but ways that you can turn it around, watch this video over here.